are January 8th of 2023, and you can see we've had a huge CME come off the sun here, right here, and it's like an M1. It looks a lot bigger than an M class, but it's an M class flare. It's coming off of this region over here where we've seen this bright spot here for the last week or so, and as it comes out, we'll go through it frame by frame, and I'll start zooming in on it. Something else I want to point out right here, as while we got it here, is watch how all of this disappears. This little spike gets really intense, gets really wide, and then with the next CME, boom, it's all gone. So we'll go over that frame by frame here. Let me just pull this up, and we'll start freeze framing and zooming in for you guys. Because in this was captured an object that's causing this whole CME. So as we're going to back up just a little bit here, bring this over here, start zooming in on this area here. Yeah, there we go. And then we'll start going forward through this. So as this event unfolds, you can see we have this small round object right here is what's causing this CME. And I'm going to come over here and we'll go zoom in on this some more for you. Whoops. I'll come up a little bit. Alright, this small round object right here is what's causing this CME. Let me scoot it down. Let me try adjusting this a little bit because I want it in the center of the screen. Yeah, it didn't work. So let me pull it down just a little bit. There we go. Oh, hopefully that's a little, well, not doing too well here. Anyways, there we go. There's a good shot of it. Right here is our round object. As we back it up, you can see it coming out right here. As it emerges, you can see plasma is going around it faster than it's going out. Okay? So it's then this CME comes out, it's reacting to this object. The magnetic field, let's go back a frame right here. This is an important frame because, oops, where's our object again? Right here, as this object starts to emerge, it gets further out, you can see it has a nice round magnetic field around it. As this magnetic field leaves the magnetic field of the sun, it induces this next CME that washes over this object. Boom. And then as we zoom back, let me pull back out of this a little bit here. Here our object starts to emerge from the plasma. Let's go over here and zoom in on this. You know what? First of all, I want it center of the screen. There we go. That's a little bit better. Hello, folks in the chat. Welcome here. All right, here's our round object right here. And then as it proceeds out, you can see it right here. It's right back in there. Here. Oops. In this frame, it's right down here now. Hang on. Let's back up a little bit. So from here, sitting in there, to right here. Let's get it on that frame real quick. There we go. You can see here's our object in between the lines, like it does sometimes. Here's the initial shock wave, and here's our, the secondary wave. So here's the object before it leaves the screen again. All right, and then that wave washes over it as it moves out. So let me back out of this a little bit again. Back up a little bit. Okay, now watch as this little object comes out. Whoops, let's back it up some more because here's our object right there. Okay, so we'll do it again as it comes out. You see plasma going around it. It then induces the second CME, which washes over it. Here it is. After the CME is washed over it, here's the back side of the object now. The front little spot right here still appears to be a little bit sunk in the plasma, but let's do this real quick here. You can see now that this plasma has gone over it and washing past it. It's going out faster than this object is. This object still remains, and then you can make out there's still a little bit of plasma right on the edge of it right there. Okay, and go. Oh, that's too close. Okay, so we had another CME induced by one of these objects, and then as we put this back into motion here, watch over here on the red side again. Watch as this big old stream gets a lot more intense. It widens out, and then when this object moves out, it takes all of that plasma with it. So we have another big event. This is coming off of the rotating sunspot region that's Earth facing, so we will get a glancing blow from this. Also, this magnetic field is a pretty strong one to pull off that much plasma, so this object has a strong magnetic field associated with it. It looks to go right behind the Earth's path, but pretty close behind it. I would say maybe the southern hemisphere again might experience some rough weather and some side effects as this magnetic field interacts with the Earth's magnetic field when it passes in about 3 days. So actually this one's moving slow compared to the CME. These CMEs usually take about 3 days. This thing seems to be going a tad bit slower than the CMEs. So maybe 4 days until that magnetic field from this object interacts with us. So this being the 8th, I would expect to see maybe some effects from this on the 12th. And when I get more data from this, we'll update it a little bit. But apparently this is just an M-class one, but it is induced by one of these objects. And this stream was reaching out to this as it approached. Then it passes, and then as it leaves, the stream disappears. It takes all of that plasma right there with it. Just rips it away from the sun. Goodbye. It's gone. So another event here with these objects right there, and then it washes right over it, and that second wave, as it washes over it, kind of grabs a hold of it and pulls it along and separates it. Finally kind of snaps loose from its grip from the sun. So that's our little event for tonight. It's not much, but it is clear that we have an object here that's causing this. I mean, it's for me, it's plain as day to see how the scientists and stuff could refuse to acknowledge what this is right here and what it's doing. It's causing these reactions on the sun. I have a feeling as this thing approached, it caused that sunspot, and now that it's passed and caused this flare or this CME, I bet you this sunspot might calm down now because it was being affected by the incoming magnetic field of this object. Boom, there it goes. Okay, so I think that was about it for tonight. Let me see if we can get this to scooch over a little bit more so you guys can see that as we close out here. And you can see plasma going around it faster than it's moving out. I know the replay doesn't work very well. That's why I did frame by frame, but hopefully this captures it well. And you can see after the secondary wave hits it, it catches it and kind of pulls it out. Pulls it along a little further right there. So all kinds of activity going on here. And these objects inducing CMEs again. Right there. The other CMEs were not too much to report in the previous days. Just this is our latest little incident since our little X-flare event that we had since God's finger. And this looks to be in that same zone, that same area that the X-flare came out of, the same sunspot region. Now watch as it takes all that away. Boom. But it's still in that region, so I'm wondering if maybe this is incoming wave might be drawing objects into this zone. Watch as this thing comes in at the very beginning before the CME, right, starting right here, that one going in. Maybe we'll pause on that just real quick. Okay, let me bring this up here real quick. Okay, this little guy streaking right in here. It's got a little tail, a little streak on it right here. You can see because it's... See this tail on this object? This is the solar wind reacting to this, and this is some kind of wake coming off of this object as it goes in. Okay? Let me get this out of the way here. I'll pull this up a little bit. Because I want you to notice, we're backing up here. All right. Opening frame. Here's our object right here streaking in, almost like a comet with a tail, it looks like. That's more like a, probably a electromagnetic field line or something that it's on, causing the streak or this tail. But as that object moves in, then momentarily later, I got this one popping out down here. I don't think it's the same object, because this streak seemed to be there for quite a while, reaching out to this object as it came from back behind the sun this way. If you looked at it back behind this black circle, it came from there, passed by the magnetic field, ripped off some plasma, and then it starts heading back out, causing another CME to wash over it. It's pulling... Its magnetic field is pulling plasma off. It's inducing this magnetic field. Here's our object right here. Whoops. Right here, sorry. It has a round bubble effect. See these streaks coming out around it right here? So it has its own round magnetic field, and when that round field starts to pull away from this one, it snaps and pulls off a little more plasma and takes that whole chunk with it as it goes. So that was it for tonight. Just put it right there one more time and start the loop for you, and then just watch on both sides. As this thing erupts, it just takes this whole chunk with it. Boom, and that's all gone. Alright, so apparently that was an M class, an M1 I think is what they said, so we'll find out more later. We could go over to stereo A real quick. It didn't really capture it too well, but there was a frame here in stereo A that looked interesting. Because as we get here, and previous frame here. Okay, watch on this red side as it comes out. You can see we have this little arc right here already caused by this object, this big dent right here. But then it appears we have a second one right here causing another dent. So this is a different angle of the same event, capturing what may have been two objects. It's hard to tell. Kind of looks that way in this one, but sometimes it could be deceiving. This looks like a round dark object right there. Another one making a dent in this. This should be a round face right here. So these look like these objects making a dent in it. Let's see if we go over to this one. Ooh. Let's see if maybe the camera captures this round dark shape right here. Alright, well, that's it for tonight. Okay, we'll close out with this last one right here. Boom. Let that play as we close out. Alright, so there's our CME for January 8th. And probably be seeing more of this activity, probably from this zone, if this is where our impact happened in this region of the heliosphere. I would expect to see maybe more activity from here. Also looking over, whoops. Let's go over to this side real quick. Yeah, we're pulled back there. So as this one disappears, boom, watch as it takes all that away. It's gone. Oh, wait, I'm going to pause it there. All right. So as it's ripping all the rest of this away, that whole spike is gone now. But there's still this spike over here. So we might see some activity coming over on this side next. And I'll be watching more in this region for more reactions of this inbound wave. So that's it for tonight, guys. I love you all. I miss you all. God bless you all. And until my next video, bye.